Good evening, everybody, elected members, members of the public, staff. Thank you for joining us. Declare this Monday notice of agenda briefing open, and noting this is an agenda briefing. We will get to the couple of items later, but there are a couple of items that are requiring more information, which will come out during the week. I have suggested, obviously, if there's a bit of interest or some more questioning or conversations, we might schedule something in before next Tuesday's OCM, given that obviously there might be some further conversation on those as well. Obviously the CEO is an apology. I think he might be tuning in, but I'm sure if there's any questions for him, he'll be able to provide some response to that as well. I believe Councillor Brown is still on leave, and Councillor Steck is an apology, and Councillor Smith, the Deputy Mayor, is joining us online. Can you hear us there?
I can, loud and clear, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
And it looks like you're with us. Nice backdrop.
Oh, well, that's my fake background that my clever family set up.
Very good. Okay, so working our way through the agenda. Do we have any declaration of interest before we get started? Sorry, councillors. Great, that's fine, thank you. Into the report section. So as I indicated there, item 10.2.1, I believe I just spoke to the CEO a little bit earlier. He has just got a draft copy of that report, and I'm sure that'll be circulated in the next few days. We can go through that next week. Thank you. 10.3.1. Any questions? Thank you. 10.3.2. The tender for the cleaning services. Thank you. 10.3.3, so the manager of governance isn't here, but I think we can probably answer if we need to on any of those. Any questions on those, councillors? So this is going to require a position on a couple of those different positions, so if there's a particular feeling for those to get something into the agenda before next week, might be good. Sure.
Actually had a briefing or anything of these that I may have missed that we could discuss further?
Yeah, I think we have a briefing, and it's probably mine. I think this come through from Walga to me, and then I think I just forwarded on to the manager of governance saying I think we need a position on these. So again, that might be something we take on notice and maybe have a bit of a conversation next week. Acting CEO.
Yeah, through the chair. Yes, we can look at that next week, maybe before the meeting, if that'll be helpful.
Is the manager of governance around next week?
Yes, he is.
We might schedule that in, that'd be good. Thank you. (10.3.4). Questions? Councillor Cassett.
Mr. Mayor, now that we are considering ongoing financial support, so this year 900,000 for Bunbury loan, I just wonder whether we can consider engaging a lawyer to get an interpretation of the constitutional agreement, in particular section 6A and 6C. I can read it out if you like, but those two.
So obviously the CEO is not here to answer in terms of that. I mean, you could request that of the CEO, and if he thought that was something he could do, obviously himself, then he could do that. Alternatively, obviously, you can put that up as a motion next week, Councillor Gassett. But you might want to check with him first if it's something he's prepared to do or has comment on, and then you can potentially raise that next week. Acting CEO, anything further to add on that?
Yeah, through the chair, I can just add that we have employed Mark Newman, who's the ex-CEO from Mandurah, to act as a consultant, and is reviewing our BHRC model. That is work that's ongoing at the moment.
Councillor Steele.
Have we previously had any legal advice, and would that not have covered these within that legal advice?
Yeah, I do believe there was some, I remember seeing some around it, but Acting CEO, do you have a comment on that?
Through the chair, yes, there was some sort. We will need to take that on notice to find exactly what that was, if that's okay.
Further questions?
Mr. Mayor, I have a question. I understand that this request is 5% less than what they thought they would be asking for. Do you know anything about that?
No, I'm not entirely sure. Acting CEO?
Through the chair, I'm not aware of that, but we can take that on notice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I just ask,
Councillor Ash.
the question is this funding 50% support, is this a recurring operational deficit or is just this year's deficit for the Harvey Council or BHRC?
Yeah, sure. There's a little bit of history in the background document there, and we have contributed to the contribution the last couple of years, so they're operating, and there has been obviously some capital contributions in there, and that's in the background summary documents. Similar to what was the city do, where they're budgeting. I think there has been some commentary before around them preparing a long-term financial plan and what that looks like, and that's what some of the work's happening at the moment. The audit committee has requested that they inform us prior to April going forward if there's going to be, so we can factor that into our budget. You probably remember during the budget discussion that we indicated we thought 900,000 would be the amount that was asked for, but obviously we didn't have that figure at this stage, so it has been somewhat accounted for, I think, Acting CEO, from that point of view, and obviously it's coming from the waste refuge, which has been indicated from there.
Are we doing anything to mitigate for future, like 25, 26, or is there any financial review plans or waste reduction or
Yep.
lean efficiencies?
Yep, absolutely. That's some of the work that we have the consultant now doing, which is employed. So I would imagine that work, I think, has a couple of month time frame on it, and we'll have an update and a future plan, both the city with options at that stage. All good. Thank you. Further questions? Good, thank you. 10.3.5 is the appointment to the Disability Access and Inclusion Committee. Questions? Thank you. 10.4.1 will be an update as well, coming shortly. Not sure if the director wants to make any comment on that. Acting CEO, through you.
Through the director, if there's any comment?
I just received the draft report this afternoon, which I've reviewed. That'll come out hopefully tomorrow.
Great. Thank you. We'll get that one soon. 10.4.2. Any questions? Thank you. Councillor Steck's not here, but obviously we have the motion on notice, which we will deal with next week, but I'll happy to take if there's any questions on this now, if there is any. Councillor Quain?
Could you please let me know or let us know what is in place to ensure all city properties have a current lease so that no leases sort of lapse, or what is the process?
Acting CEO, do you have a comment on that or question, a response to that?
Through the chair, can I direct this to the director, please?
Thanks, Acting CEO. Yes, this is a process in place. So I'm still familiarising myself with the lands team and having them doing a body of work. So I will come back just to confirm where they're at.
Taking on notice, Councillor Steck. Councillor Quain, sorry. Councillor Quain, follow-up question?
Are you able to provide a list of any city property that doesn't have a lease, maybe it might have a MOU or nothing else?
Acting CEO.
I assume we take that on notice?
Yes, please.
Thanks, Councillor Crane. Further questions on this item? Councillor Cassett?
I just note that the executive recommendation is supporting the notice on motion. Mr Mayor, I'm just curious, with the land being owned by the state government and the improvements owned by, or the building improved by the council, is that correct? Can we confirm that's the case? Normally, an improvement is actually owned by the landowner. So I'm not sure how that works. I'm just curious whether we can get some clarity on that.
I'm sure we can get some confirmation on that. Acting CEO, unless you have comment.
Through the chair, yes, we'll take that on notice and confirm.
Further question, Councillor Crane?
I'm just curious, is there any consideration in implementing inspections of city facilities, buildings that have a lease agreement with a community group?
Yeah, I think, Councillor Crane, at the audit committee, obviously there is an outline of some of the work to happen in that space, including some of the suggestions and recommendations to get that in place. And I think the director will take that as part of his report back to us, what the plans are, and that's what's currently happening and what any recommendations are going forward. Councillor Cassett?
Yeah, just because it's time relevant, I'm just wondering, are we making any progress on checking up on whether the tenants or the lessees have provided or have got insurance cover? Have they provided, have we started to request?
For part 4 you're
Certificate?
talking about, yep.
Yeah, certificate of currencies. It's in the rest of, I think, one,
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, fifth paragraph from the bottom on the right, on page 189. So
Yeah.
just, sorry, the question is, are we trying to pursue, in the interim, certificate of currencies for insurances?
We can give an update on where we're at with that potentially. Acting CEO, is there any update on that?
Can we take that on notice? Or through the
Yes.
chair, I can give that to the director.
Yeah, thanks, Acting CEO. Yes, we did run a check on the currency certificate of insurance last week, and confirmation was received. I still have a question around with people being on the site, trespassing or whatever circumstances, just getting some clarification about the cover on that. So I haven't had a response yet, but we're following that up with the local government insurance cover. So.
And I think that was around some of the conversations there around all our other leases as well, and potentially some other properties. So I think that was the line for Councillor Gassett, but we'll take that on notice and get an update on what's happening immediately. Thank you. Other questions? Thank you. I believe that brings us to a close. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on this Monday night, and those who are at Walga in the next few days, we'll see you there. Thank you very much.